100 days ago, I set up this chunk of swamp ecosystem. It's more than just an aquarium. It's an ecosystem that evolves and changes every day, where living beings coexist in teams. In this video, you'll find replicas of habitat and the beauties of Mother Nature. Today, I'll explain how I set up this ecosystem. So, let's go back to day one. I've decided to use this not-so-large tank for my project. I attached a black background on the glass with using a glass cleaner. This will prevent air gaps from forming between the foil and the glass. After placing the styrofoam under the tank, we can start the work in it. I used natural colored sand for the base. It will be the bottom layer of this ecosystem. Mangrove wood can serve as a substrate for beneficial bacteria to colonize, aiding in biological filtration by breaking down organic waste and toxins, thus helping to maintain water quality. As the wood decomposes slowly, it releases tannins and other compounds into the water, which can help to inhibit the growth of certain types of algae and create a more stable aquatic environment. The tannins released by mangrove wood can also help lower the pH of the water, making it more suitable for fish species that prefer slightly acidic conditions. Nature provides us with excellent materials that we can use in our ecosystems. I love sourcing suitable materials from nature without harming it to use in my systems. Especially if you want to set up a blackwater aquarium, you can obtain most of the materials for your ecosystem from nature. Don't be afraid of natural materials. There's life in nature. The materials I collected won't sink into the water when I put them in the aquarium. That's why I soaked them in water for a few days. I'm placing all the materials one by one inside the tank. Actually, there's no rule to this. I want to create a natural look. When all of these come into contact with water, they'll become part of the ecosystem. Along with the tannins they release into the water, they'll create an excellent living space for fish and plants. Just like aquatic plants, terrestrial plant roots can absorb nutrients such as nitrates, ammonia, and phosphates from the water, this helping to reduce their levels and maintain water quality. As the roots respire, they release oxygen into the water, which benefits fish and other aquatic organisms by increasing oxygen levels in the aquarium. The roots of terrestrial plants provide additional surface area for beneficial bacteria to colonize. These bacteria help break down organic waste, contributing to biological filtration and maintaining a healthy aquatic environment. Terrestrial plant roots compete with algae for nutrients in the water. By consuming these nutrients, they can help reduce the growth of algae in the aquarium. About a week after introducing our ecosystem to water, the cycle slowly began to form. The water started to turn slightly yellow with the help of the woods and branches. This indicates the beginning of tannin release. But that wasn't enough for me. In the following days, I decided to add a bit more to the ecosystem. I increased the amount of dried leaves. I added a pinch of Java moss and a few roots of Anubias plants. This way, the ecosystem started to become more colorful and diverse. A few days later, I borrowed a few nerite snails from my main tank and transferred them to their new homes. There's a rumor that nerite snail shells can get pitted in low pH levels. What are your thoughts on this? Please enlighten me. A group of Bloody Mary shrimp also moved to their new homes. As of the 15th day, everything seems to be going well. The shrimps and snails are happy. The ecosystem is progressing towards becoming a cohesive whole. And here is the sight I've been wanting to see for 15 days. I finally introduced the fish to the ecosystem. Here, there's a small group of cardinal tetras. They originate from the blackwater regions of South America, particularly the Amazon basin, where the water is naturally tinted by tannins from decaying plant matter. Cardinal tetras thrive in acidic, soft water conditions typically found in blackwater habitats. They also appreciate the subdued lighting and natural environment that blackwater aquariums provide. Overall, cardinal tetras can be a great addition to a blackwater aquarium setup. Days and weeks passed, and the ecosystem progressed perfectly, forming a cohesive whole within itself. The fish are shining as they would in their natural habitats, the plants are thriving, and the water quality is excellent. This ecosystem is thriving without the need for water changes. In recent days, I felt the need to update the ecosystem a bit more, so I got to work. I wanted to scape the ecosystem a bit wilder and more natural. First, I rearranged the design. I removed the woods from the top. I added a small group of dwarf raspberries to the family. I relocated the palm plant to another one of my tanks. I will use these wild ivies growing on my house wall instead of the palm plant. These tiny, clinging roots you see will grow in the aquarium water and eventually turn into the plant's main roots. Since the ivy plant grows faster than the palm plant, it will require more nutrients and contribute more to the water quality of the aquarium. This will lead to a higher quality development of the ecosystem. Additionally, the top of the aquarium will be visually fuller. This was really the dense I wanted. I'm sure the fish can see this dense of plants on the water surface and feel safer. A week later, the roots of the plants started to show growth. I was very happy about this. As I mentioned, I wanted to make this ecosystem in my home as natural as possible, and for that, I needed natural materials. Almost every week, I collected the materials I needed from nature and added them to this tank. Every week, more and more, I have finally achieved the result I dreamed of. However, I want to further improve it. If you have any suggestions, please write them in the comments. I read all the comments one by one. I leave you alone with the final state of the tank. Enjoy.